I've been living alone in my RV for over 2 years now. And let me tell you, there are some truths about this lifestyle that nobody warned me about. The Instagram posts and YouTube videos make it look like endless sunsets and freedom. But there's a whole other side to solo RV living in your 60s that people just don't talk about. I'm going to share 10 things I wish someone had told me before I hit the road, including the one thing that completely changed how I approach every single day. Stick around for that. It's number 7. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nancy, and if you're new here, I document my life as a 60-plus solo RVer traveling across America. I share the ups, the downs, and sometimes the weird and controversial about living and traveling full-time in an RV. If that sounds cool to you, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss any of my practical RV living tips. Now, before we dive in, I want to be clear. I absolutely love this lifestyle, but I also believe in keeping it real with you. The challenges I'm about to share aren't meant to scare anyone away from RV living. They're meant to prepare you for the reality so you can make informed decisions and maybe avoid some of the mistakes I made. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk about what they really don't tell you about living alone in your RV in your 60s. Number 1, and this is a big one, the loneliness hits differently than anything you've ever experienced before. Now, I was prepared for some loneliness. I'm living alone in less than a 200 square foot space, traveling to places where I don't know anyone. But what I wasn't prepared for was how intense it would be when it hit. It's not a constant thing. Most days I'm perfectly content with my own company. But when loneliness strikes, maybe it's a beautiful sunset that you want to share with someone, or you're having mechanical trouble and just need someone to talk it through with, it can feel overwhelming. It's especially difficult after spending any length of time with friends and family, like I did last winter when I spent 6 months in Orlando. Now that I'm back on the road, I feel like I'm having to adjust all over again. The solution? I've learned to document these moments differently. I take photos and videos, yes, but I also write about them. I call friends and family more often, and I've joined online communities where I can share these experiences with people who get it. Number 2, your body keeps score in ways you don't expect. Look, I'm in pretty good shape for my age, but RV living presents physical challenges that I never considered. Climbing in and out of the RV multiple times a day, that's hard on your knees and your hips. Reaching those overhead compartments, my shoulders remind me I'm not 40 anymore. Setting up and breaking down camp, especially when it's windy or you're dealing with uneven ground, it's physically demanding. I've had to get creative. I bought a small step stool that I keep by the door. I reorganized my storage so that the containers aren't so heavy. I invested in lightweight camping chairs and a lighter hose. I've learned to ask for help when I need it, which brings me to something else they don't tell you about. The other thing, your sleep is different, especially when you're on the road. Sometimes it's the unfamiliar sounds, wind, other campers, highway noise. Sometimes it's just the fact that you're hyper aware of every sound because you're alone. The good news is that you're in your own bed with your own pillows and bedding, and that really helps with getting a good night's sleep. Number 3, you will talk to yourself, and it will become completely normal. I'm talking full conversations, people, not just muttering under your breath, but actual discussions with yourself or your dogs. It starts as practical thinking out loud, but it evolves into companionship. I find myself saying good morning to my RV, commenting on the weather, talking through problems, even telling myself jokes. And you know what? It's actually healthy. It helps me process thoughts and stay mentally sharp. The first time my sister caught me having a full conversation with myself was when I was visiting her. I was embarrassed. Now I just wave and keep talking. We're all doing it. Some of us are just more honest about it than others. Number 4, your relationship with reading and hobbies will completely change. When you're living in a small space with limited entertainment options and no daily commute or office distractions, you rediscover activities you might have pushed aside. I'm reading more books now than I have in decades, mostly ebooks on my Kindle, but I have physical books for when I want to sit in that beach chair overlooking the ocean. I don't know what it is about reading a real book at the beach, but it makes me happy. I've worked my way through genres I've never touched before, historical fiction, memoirs. But my favorites are still romance fiction, romantic comedies, and murder mysteries. I've created a list for you of the most current books I've been reading this summer, and I'll try and update it every month. You can find it on my Amazon page at www.amazon.com /shop/making my own link. I'll leave a link in the description for you. But it's not just reading. I picked up Diamond Art, which another RVer got me started on in my year one. It's perfect for RV life because it's not messy, it doesn't take up a lot of room, and you can use or hang up some of the things that you make or even gift them. I know RVers who've learned guitar, started writing, taken up photography, painting, fishing, or have even gotten serious about bird watching. The thing is, when you have long stretches of quiet time and you're surrounded by inspiration, creativity just flows differently. These aren't just ways to pass the time. They become genuine sources of joy and accomplishment. Number 5, technology becomes your absolute lifeline. And when it fails, panic sets in fast. I'm not just talking about GPS and weather apps, though those are crucial. I'm talking about your connection to the outside world. Video calls with family, social media to share your adventures, streaming services for entertainment, online banking, telemedicine appointments, ordering supplies. It all depends on having a reliable internet connection. And when you're in remote areas, that's not always guaranteed. I've learned to have backup plans for my backup plans. I carry hotspots for 2 different carriers. I have downloaded entertainment and maps for offline use. I know which libraries and McDonald's have the best Wi-Fi in different regions. But here's what really gets to you. When your technology fails, especially your phone, the isolation becomes very real. You're not just losing entertainment or convenience, you're losing your safety net, your connection to help, your connection to loved ones. I've been in situations where I had no cell service for a couple of days, and that vulnerability is something you feel in your bones. Go back inside because it's too hot. It's just too hot. Stick my face in the freezer. Just too hot. Number 6, the safety paranoia is real and it changes how you experience everything. As a solo RVer in your 60s, and I think especially as a solo female traveler, you become hyper vigilant in ways you were never before. Every sound at night gets your attention. Every person who approaches your RV gets evaluated. I have multiple locks on my door. I have window coverings that prevent people from seeing inside. I carry pepper spray. I have a security system with cameras. I have emergency contacts programmed into my phone and a check-in system with my family. My evening routine now includes a security walker, checking locks, making sure everything is put away. I sleep with my keys next to my bed and my phone fully charged. It's more than just that. It's watching the weather patterns so I can avoid dangerous storms and extreme weather. These aren't things that occurred to me when I was planning this lifestyle. Now, I want to be clear. I've never actually been in a dangerous situation. Most RVers are wonderful, helpful people, and most campgrounds are safe. But being prepared for the worst case scenario is just part of my solo RV living. The peace of mind is worth the extra precautions. Number 7, and this is the game changer I promised you. Making lists evolves from a practical necessity into an art form that literally structures your entire life. But it's not just about remembering to buy milk. You will become obsessed with making lists. And I mean obsessed. I have lists for everything. Grocery lists, maintenance lists, places to visit lists, books to read lists, supply lists for different seasons, emergency contact lists, breakdown lists, setup lists, and repair shop lists for different regions. I've always been a list person, but when you're responsible for everything from navigation to maintenance to meal planning, and you're doing it all alone, lists become your lifeline. I have a master list of items I need to restock before I move on to another city. I have a list of all my RV's quirks and things that need to be fixed. I have seasonal lists, what needs to be done before winter, before summer. I have route planning lists with alternative stops. I have lessons learned lists where I write down what worked and what didn't at each location. I have gratitude lists, goal lists, and even lists of people I've met with and I want to stay in touch with. The funny thing is, making lists has become almost meditative for me. There's something satisfying about organizing your thoughts on paper when everything else in your life is in constant motion. Here's the revelation. These lists become your roadmap for intentional living. When you don't have the structure of a traditional job or home, you have to create your own structure. Lists become how you stay focused, how you remember your priorities, and how you make sure you're not just wandering aimlessly, unless that's what you plan on doing. I spend Sunday mornings planning my week with lists. It's become a ritual that I actually look forward to. It's when I decide where I want to explore, what maintenance needs attention, who I want to call, what I want to read. It's how I make sure I'm living intentionally instead of just existing. Number 8, you either know someone who can fix things or you need to budget for paying someone to fix things. There's no middle ground. RVs break down. It's not if, it's when. In 2 years, I've dealt with mechanical issues, electrical and plumbing problems, tire blowouts, air conditioning failures, awning repairs, and hot water tank repairs. Each time I'm faced with the same reality. I can either fix it myself, find another RVer who can help, or pay a professional. I've learned to do some basic maintenance, checking fluids, changing tires, but the big stuff, I have a network now. I know RVers who are former mechanics, electricians, and handy people who are willing to help in exchange for a meal or some assistance with their own projects. I also have a list, there's that word again, of recommended repair shops in different regions. Mobile RV mechanics who will come to you, parts suppliers who will ship to general delivery at post offices. It's like having a national support network. But here's what they don't tell you. Even simple repairs cost more on the road. Labor rates are higher. Parts take longer to get. And sometimes you're stuck in one place for days waiting for repairs. It's not just about the money, it's about the stress and impact on your travel plans. Number 9, decision fatigue becomes overwhelming. Every single day, you're making choices that used to be made for you or were routine. Where do I go next? What route do I take? Where do I buy groceries? Where do I get gas? Where do I dump my tanks? What do I cook for dinner? At home, you have routines. You shopped at the same stores. You took the same routes, ate at the same restaurants. On the road, every decision requires research and thought. Should I stay another day here or move on? Is that campground worth the extra money? Should I take the scenic route or the faster highway? I've had to develop systems to manage this. I use apps that help me find campgrounds, gas stations, and grocery stores. I research destinations in advance, so I'm not making everything up as I go. I have default choices. Certain restaurant chains I know I can count on. Certain campground chains that meet my standards. But some days I'm just exhausted from making decisions. I've actually stayed in places longer than I wanted to just because I didn't have the mental energy to plan the next move. The freedom to go anywhere becomes a burden when you have to decide where anywhere is every single day. Number 10, you'll face judgment from others that you weren't expecting. Family members who think you should settle down at your age. Strangers who assume you're homeless or running from something. People who think solo RV living is irresponsible or dangerous for someone in their 60s. I've had family members express constant worry that borders on disapproval. I've had strangers at gas stations ask if I'm okay or if I need help in a way that suggests they think something might be wrong with me for living this way. I've had people assume I can't afford a real home. The hardest part is that sometimes their doubt seeps in. You start questioning your choices, especially when things go wrong, when you're dealing with a breakdown or feeling lonely or stressed about money. Those voices in your head get louder. But here's what I've learned. Their judgment says more about their fears than it does about your choices. Most people are terrified of change, terrified of being alone, terrified of taking risks. Your courage to live differently challenges their comfort zone, and that makes them uncomfortable. I've learned to surround myself with supportive people, other RVers who get it, family members who are proud of my adventure, friends who live vicariously through my travels, and I've learned to trust my own judgment about what makes me happy. Now, after sharing all of these challenges with you, you might be wondering why I continue this lifestyle. And that's a fair question. But here's the thing they also don't tell you. Every single challenge I've mentioned has made me stronger, more resilient, and more confident than I've ever been. Yes, I get lonely sometimes, but I've also discovered that I genuinely enjoy my own company. Yes, I talk to myself, but I've become my own best friend and strongest supporter. Yes, I make endless lists, but I've never been more organized or more intentional about my life. Yes, things break and I have to deal with it, but I've learned skills I never thought I could master. I've changed my own tire on the side of the highway. I've troubleshot electrical problems. I've negotiated repairs and advocated for myself in ways I never had to before. Yes, decision fatigue is real, but I've also had the freedom to wake up and decide to spend another day somewhere beautiful just because I wanted to. I've changed my plans on a whim and discovered incredible places I never would have found otherwise. And yes, some people judge my choices, but I've also inspired others to pursue their own dreams. I've shown my children that age doesn't have to limit your adventures. I've proven to myself that I am capable of far more than I ever imagined. The truth is, every challenge of solo RV living in your 60s is also an opportunity to discover who you really are when you strip away all the external expectations and routines, an opportunity to prove to yourself that you're capable, resilient, and brave. So if you're considering this lifestyle, or if you're already living it and nodding along with everything I've shared, I want to hear from you. What challenges have you faced that I didn't mention? What solutions have you found that might help other people? What's been your biggest surprise about this lifestyle? And if this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and even share it with a friend. I share the real, unfiltered truth about solo RV living every week, the challenges, the victories, and everything in between. Until next week, keep making your own lane, whatever that looks like for you. And remember, the best adventures happen when you're brave enough to be honest about both the challenges and the rewards. I'll see you on the road.